Brendan Rodgers was just another thread in a string of correct decisions that Leicester City board just doesn't miss. The club sacked Claude Puel after a series of poor results, with the final nail in the coffin being a 4-1 defeat to Crystal Palace at the King Power. In Rodgers' opening 6 league fixtures, his Leicester team would go on to score 14 goals and concede just 6, winning 5 of them. They would go on to finish the season in 9th place. Ahead of the 2019-20 season, the club made some significant squad improvements. In came Tielemans, Dennis Pratt and Ayoze Perez. The transfer fees are undisclosed, but I'm sure they were a pretty penny. They might even have made a profit when we consider that the club sold Harry Maguire for £80 million. Leicester started the 2019-20 season with 2 draws, but would then go on to win 12 of their next 14 fixtures, including a streak of 8 wins in a row. The back four was sensational. Chilwell, Pereira, and the centre-back pairing of Evans and Sayonchu. Their only signing in the January window was centre-back Ryan Bennett from Wolves, and this was surely to provide cover if either of them got injured. In the midfield, Madison was doing the most. He created 79 chances, which was 5th highest from all Premier League players. There was also Wilfred Ndidi, who was taking no prisoners. Ndidi raked up 81 interceptions, which was the most of all Premier League midfielders. Ndidi also committed 128 tackles, which was only bettered by Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Interestingly enough, Ricardo Pereira was behind Ndidi with 119 tackles. That is just insane. Up front, their marksman brought home the Golden Boot to cap off yet another prolific year in front of goal. Jamie Vardy was 32 when he did this, making him the oldest player to do so. Golden Boot winner at 32. My goodness. Their last 5 games were absolutely dismal. They won 1, drew 1, and lost 3, including a 4-1 drilling, courtesy of relegation-threatened Bournemouth. In the end, they finished in 5th spot, which was a significant improvement from last year's 9th place. Ahead of the 2020-21 season, they made significant defensive reinforcements. They splashed £30 million on Saint Etienne centre-back Wesley Fofana and £21 million on Atalanta wing-back Timothy Castagne. This was offset by Ben Chilwell's £50 million move to Chelsea. Some good business. They couldn't have started the 2020-21 season any better. They were 3 wins from 3 and had scored 12 goals in the process, including putting 5 past Manchester City, something that Guardiola had never experienced before. From the start of the campaign till matchday 36, the club had never seen lower than 4th position. They then go and lose the last 2 games of the season and finish in 5th spot, condemning themselves to another season playing in the Europa League. Leicester have undergone an attacking change-up. Last season, they adopted a 2-man front line instead of playing with their typical lone striker. Jamie Vardy has really shown his versatility over the years, now more than ever with this 3-pronged attack. Vardy has always made darting runs on the left wing, generally taking a centre-back or 2 with him. Nowadays, this run creates space for Iheanacho to assume the position of the central striker, which is his natural position. And we can see the results of this. One Ayoze Perez then advances himself, and this is how Leicester create an attacking advantage to really force the issue and impose themselves. In March 2021, Leicester scored 8 goals in 3 Premier League games, with City being the only team to outscore them in the month. Add 3 more goals scored in their FA Cup tie against Manchester United, and we really get a sense of the attacking prowess Brendan Rodgers has concocted. Part 2 in the Premier League, at least after the infamous SAS. Following United in the quarters, Leicester would go on to beat Southampton in the semis and edge Chelsea 1-0 on their way to lifting the FA Cup. I'm interested to see how 22-year-old Patson Daka fits into this attack. The Zambian signed from Red Bull Salzburg and will probably be deployed on the European stage. He seems to be the one the club has chosen to take over from Vardy. He is pacey, lethal, and agile. I'm sure Vardy will show him the ropes in training and help him get up to speed on what it takes to lead the line at a Premier League club. Not enough has been said about James Madison. He has had an injury-hit season, and I think he will bounce back just fine. He is the only one since Coutinho who can put them in the top wins consistently. Madison needs to build his physique. It is the only thing that may be hampering his career, and it may cost him a spot in the England World Cup squad. Harvey Barnes is another Englishman who has had an injury-hit season. I think Barnes is the club's most underrated player. He always looks ready to attack and does have a good change of pace on him. There is not much more I can add to Wilfred Ndidi and Yuri Tillemans ahead of the season. They do have their work cut out in protecting the Leicester defence, which is at its utmost vulnerable. Wesley Fofana was injured during a friendly match against Villarreal, and he will be out for the rest of the year at the minimum. 33-year-old Johnny Evans is still showing his worth. They signed him for just £3.5 million from West Brom, and he has made 90 Premier League appearances for Leicester over the last 3 seasons. He played all but 35 minutes of the entire 2019-20 campaign, and he may have to do it again. They have the league's best goalkeeper in Kasper Schmeichel. Whoever controls the transfer targets for Leicester deserves heaps of praise. Too many of their players have done well. Brendan Rodgers has been inspirational to them. He has brought them silverware in the form of the FA Cup and the Community Shield. In the league, they have scored 135 goals in the last 2 Premier League seasons. That's more than Chelsea, Tottenham, and Arsenal. Leicester are proof that the conventional top 6 does not exist. Whilst winning the Premier League is a feat on its own, they've managed to stay relatively competitive since, despite losing their top talent season after season. They finished 5th in back-to-back seasons. They have got paid some serious pounds. In the last 3 years alone, they got 60 million for Riyad Mahrez, 80 million for Harry Maguire, and 50 million for Ben Chilwell. I'm sure Yuri Tillemans will be added to that list. I have a funny feeling that Leicester will regress this season. They have a lack of rotation options for centre-backs, and Johnny Evans is injury prone at this late stage of his career. I don't think Ayoze Perez will be as good as he was last season. I pegged them to finish 7th or lower until we meet again.